Welcome, everyone. This is LOPEC Talk. This is LOPEC Talk number 7. We have had some technical difficulties, which you've seen, but we managed to change it. And I think right now we are working, we are live working. So thank you for joining LOPEC Talk number 7. We are all in preparation for LOPEC, and I'm really happy that we can announce that we see very good promise that we will have a live LOPEC in the next 3 weeks. And what we want to do today is actually show you some of the highlights of the upcoming LOPEC. And for that, we've prepared a short agenda. And let me guide you first through that agenda. Let me check that. So here we are. So this is the agenda for today. So right now I'm Wolfgang Miltner. I'm the general chair of LOPEC, and would like to introduce you the highlights and focus topics of LOPEC 2020. And yes, we will give you an overview of the highlights of the conference and also the highlights of the exhibition. And really, as I said, what we are all looking forward to is doing that, what we've done lately, 2019, although the world has changed such a lot of, in such a lot of time, but also in such a lot of topics, we see that there is a need to network, to meet again and discuss what has happened in the printed electronics field. We will have a discussion together with the conference board about the highlights. And before I go into that, I want to give you an overview first about the question, what are the focus topics of LOPEC 2022? And I had already a discussion with the PRS saying, oh, it's mobility and smart living again. Yes, this is the focal areas of LOPEC 2022, and it has not changed from 2021, but it has changed from the contents. You will see that a lot of developments have happened, even if it's just 1 year. We've seen that a lot of things have changed and a lot of things have developed further. And this is reflected also in, we will take a special look at consumer electronics. We'll take a special look at user interfaces. Adoption of printed electronics have moved further in these areas. And also for smart living, also there we see a lot of very good examples how printed electronics has changed the life and has come to market. But I think one most important thing which we cannot actually attach to mobility and smart living is sustainability. So sustainability is our third and actually our base focus topic, which we will reflect especially in this year's LOPEC, in several talks, in several exhibition parts. And so you will see it at the conference, you will see it exhibition, that printed electronics, printed and flexible electronics has an impact because it is not only in the production sustainable, but also the products are sustainable. So let's take a closer look. For that, I would like to start with the conference board. And I would like to ask the conference board members to join me today. We have Michael Correll from Evonik here. We have Luisa Torsi, she's from the University of Bari. And also we have Bertrand Filon with us from the CER, and from the Holst Center, Professor Gerwin Geeling. So this is the conference board for 2022, and I'm really happy that you all joined me to give you actually an idea about the highlights. And we really thought it's a good idea to have a discussion and have, let's say, an interactive session about these highlights. And you shortly have seen that I will also give you an idea about the plenary talks, but I really wanted to start with the speakers, with the conference board, and with the speakers which they think are the highlights of this conference, of the LOPEC conference for this year. And maybe we start with Michael Correll. Michael, what do you think? What do you say are the highlights of the business conference this year?
Well, I think it's very difficult to emphasize particular companies as a highlight. Obviously, we have established a very good program, a very interesting program. And like in previous years, we've divided this into certain focus areas. And in this year's LOPEC Business Conference, we want to start with business and product development. It's an opportunity for companies to introduce new products. We will hear, for instance, from General Silicones about a sustainable platform of silicone materials, particularly for automotive applications. We will hear about copper inks that allow for environmentally friendly additive manufacturing of electronic circuitry. We'll hear about energy storage, about phosphorescent OLED technology, and we will also hear about how to accelerate the lab-to-fab scale-up process for organic electronics. And we'll see a presentation about fully printed CMOS devices. Besides the product development, we'll also look a little bit more in general at the market for printed electronics. And one presentation by IDTechX will be about 3D and additive technologies for establishing electronic devices. And we'll hear about the tremendous market opportunities that arise from fitness trackers all the way to medical smart patches, to medical devices. And last but not least, we'll have a comprehensive session about end-use applications and its requirements. So here we see presentations about launch products, technologies that enable launching commercial products like aerosol printing, for instance. Again, additive manufacturing will be a topic. We'll hear about the importance of collaboration between all the relevant parties along the value chain and along the development and commercialization process. We'll hear about new materials that enable new functions as well as new levels of performance. We'll see some examples about human-machine interfaces, how they will allow for new embedded functions with a high quality of decorative appearance as well. And last but not least, and then this is something I look particularly forward to, is the use of artificial intelligence methods in achieving production improvements as well as better sustainability. So this is really just a very quick outline of the business conference. Usually at the business conference, we'll have companies presenting that are already well established. But I guess this is not all that is LOPEC is going to offer to the attendance. And we have another part which is not part of the conference, but more part of the exhibition. But I think it fits quite well here. And this is our startup forum.
Before we go into it, let me just tell the audience again why we started with you. it's because it's Tuesday. So we start with Tuesday with the business conference, and I think that was the reason I started with you. We will talk about the other parts. We will then continue on Wednesday and Thursday. And actually, from the content you delivered, I think we could say even the business conference is alone worth to attend, but it's only one day. But and you're right. I think especially startup is something which is a part of the accompanying program. Everyone can look at it. It's a part of the LOPEC forum, but you can give us details here. I'll just put up the slide.
Yeah, thank you, Wolfgang. When we planned for the startup forum, we first of all had to make it attractive for startup companies. And I think particularly this year, we have been quite successful in establishing, I would say, highly qualified jury by not only getting some members of our industry that are well known, but also to get some contribution from the venture capital community. And here I would like to emphasize Dr. Oliver Kahl from MIG, as well as Michael Blank from Verve Ventures, who are representing venture capital investors who will be available for our participating startup companies to exchange, to provide some advice, and maybe at the end of the day, this might also result in some investment by any of those VC companies into those startup companies. For the actual pitch program that we compiled, we kind of moved along the value chain. So we will start with some pitches from startups that focus on materials. Again, conductive inks based on copper is one contribution. We'll hear about new biocompatible, eco-friendly OLED materials, and about other semiconductor materials based on organic molecules as well. We then move on to processing. We'll hear about a new breakthrough assembly technology, about new print.
Too long, but I have to give also the other speakers a chance to talk about the content. So I'm really also enthusiastic that we had such a lot of startups here, but people should come and look at them. Actually, it's part of a forum everyone can watch. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just trying to look at our timing here.
I just want to raise curiosity. So thank you very much.
I understand very well. So thank you, Michael. Thank you. I think business conference startup is really worthwhile looking at. Let's stay on the first day, because I think probably also some of the people are interested to learn how can you do it? Can we dive deep into technologies? And for that, we have our short courses. And the short courses also start on Tuesday. Bertrand Filon is the chair of these short courses. We have him here. Bertrand, can you give us some highlights? Let's say I just ask for highlights because I know also you have a very tough and very nice program, and also some highlights which are really people probably will be interested in. Please.
Yeah. So welcome. In fact, the goal is to show how we could do it, because in LOPEC, it's very important to have also young people, the people who want to learn about this, student. It's important because that's the future. The people who want to launch business in this area, and short course is a good place to do it, because what we did this year, we tried to have short course along the value chain, from material until the end product, but with a think about sustainability. As you said, Wolfgang, is a key point. And we need to think now everywhere, sustainability, how to do the loop. It's nice to produce nice device, but how we'll do the loop in the future. So in our short course session, we will have a presentation from industry, because it's very important to have industry on board. And we have presentation on materials, the ink, because ink, it's a material itself, and it's difficult to have a good ink, and how to produce it for the future also bio-based ink. So ink, the current solvent base, but also have a vision, what could be the ink of the future. And we have industrial players who will present this. The process itself is very important. And if you want to make money, you need to have less waste, you know, to optimize. And we have a presentation from a company who will show how to have a good process control, to be sure at the end of your process, you have optimize your product. And the key point also is the substrate, because when you apply ink on the process, the substrate is crucial. Substrate, it could be paper, plastic substrate, you know, stretchable substrate. So that's the key point. What could be the substrate and how we could have a good understanding on the substrate to be sure ink have a good wettability to have a good adhesion. So that's will be a very nice short course also. A short course, very important for the organic electronic, I will say, appliance. It's a barrier. You know, it's a crucial point, the aging. If you have a good barrier, you could have a good aging and a good long life of your product. So barrier is crucial, and we have the chance to have a speaker who will explain what is a barrier and how you could have a better practice on the barrier. Or barrier, it's oxygen barrier, it's water barrier, moisture barrier, so very important. And after we move towards the application on textiles, smart patches, you know, as you show, this medical application, all these are very crucial for the future. So patches, sensors, how to fabricate sensors, and which kind of application in sensors. So that's another short course we will have. Display, you know, we try to choose different kind of applications to show what could be the business, what is the business today, you know. And of course, the last one, but I think the very important one, will be the sustainability. So we have a specific talk with an expert on sustainability and how we need to think about sustainability for our product, for the product of organic electronics. So that's a different course, you see, along the value chain on a specific area, different application area, and with the sustainability, because sustainability must be in our thinking now. So that's the big highlight, you know, and all course will be 1 hour, 45 minutes, you know, presentation, and we have 15 minutes open for questions. That's a key point, to have exchange between the speaker, the expert, and the audience.
Thank you. Thank you, Bertrand. I think that also gives us a very good outlook. Of course, if you want to learn more about details, about the speakers, about the companies speaking, just look at the program on the website. I think that gives you all the details there. But you also see a bit of the logic behind of the short courses, and also on the business conference, how we try to make this happen. Let's move along in the different parts of the different conference parts, and yeah, let's move on first with the technical conference. There, I think Professor Gerwin Gilling from the Holst Center is helping us as a conference chair, and especially this year, and we will have the same thing also on the scientific conference part. We had to select. We had more talks than we can even handle. That gives us also a very interesting poster session, but that shows also that the interest is large for presenting these new developments. Gerwin, can you give us highlights of the technical conference?
Yes, so thank you, Wolfgang. It will be 2 days full of very interesting talks given by both well-established industrial leaders as well as newcomers in the field. We basically have 2 days and 2 parallel sessions. It means that we have in total 13 sessions. So I'm also very happy, and I should acknowledge the role of the session chairs in order to select this beautiful program. There's one session which is actually a new session. and it's around circular economy and green electronics. So I would like to invite everybody to have a special look at that session. Then, as you already mentioned, Wolfgang, we had to disappoint a lot of people. We had more submissions than ever. So as a consequence, some people were a little bit disappointed, but then again, we look forward to a very interesting poster session as well. So out of these 13 sessions, we have a number of invited speakers. And for me, at least personally, it's always difficult not to mention everybody, but out of the personal favorites, I especially look forward on the European side of talks from, I would say, newcomers in the field, at least for me, as well as well-established big players. So from a European perspective, we look forward to talks from Yamaha Motor Europe, and they're going to talk about 3D structural electronics. I look forward to that talk. But we also have, I would say, the newest insights on organic solar cells. Now, organic solar cells is a little bit older, but also there you will see very interesting developments which will be presented to us by Aska. I'm also very happy to say that we still have a very strong European base, but we also have quite some talks from industrial players from the US, both big companies. So we'll have GE Healthcare talking, as well as E-Ink Displays, but also smaller European players. And I specifically look forward to the talks given by Bayflex Solutions. They will talk about mechanical testing and equipment to do that, as well as a talk on smart textile by Lumia, which is a very vibrant, young, creative industry, which I think is going to be very relevant for the LOPEC community in the years ahead of us.
Yeah, thank you, Gerwin. I think that is also, it's probably tough also for you, especially to select out of these lot of talks which are in the program, some of the highlights, and I think you did a good job. But of course, if you look out for more, just look at the program, and I think you can really be curious to see the advances. I would like to move on now to the scientific conference part. And we have a new scientific chair, which I want to welcome. It's Professor Luisa Torsi from the University of Bari. And I think it was tough this year because we had a lot of contributions. Of course, some less from Asia. Yes, we will miss this, but I think this will come back. But on the other hand, a lot of things, and also some new focus areas in the scientific area. So that's the state of the art of the institutes, of the universities. And Luisa, please give us your highlights of the conference.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Wolfgang, for this introduction. And we are really excited about the program. As you said, we had a very large number of submissions. We had to choose, and so the program is really, really state of the art. And as usual, LOPEC is really the place where we have new science, state-of-the-art science, talking to industry, so top-notch scientists and technologists, that showcases, and after 2 years of pandemic, let's say that we are really looking forward, to this. So we have a very interesting session, a group of sessions. We have 15 sessions with a number of invited speakers, and clearly a number, also the poster session would be extremely important. As to the invited speakers, well, they are mostly from Europe, but we have also Japan represented, and we are very happy about this. And we have Charlene Harvey. She will be talking about the challenges of upscaling, transparent organic photovoltaic for building integration. So, very, very important topic in this energy transition, field. And then the other talks will be really focusing on an extremely novel and rather important development in printed electronics, which is basically the interfacing between organic printed, between printed devices, general, I would say, with biological application and bioelectronic application. For instance, we will have Barbara Strober, and she will talk about microfluidic chips fabricated with high throughput printed roll-to-roll applications. And then we will have Eugenio Cantatore showing us this very, very interesting application, hybrid application, where we have picoampere resolution scalable front-end CMOS-based application interface to organic printed electronic for single molecule sensitive bioelectronic sensors. And then we will have a neuromorphic, organic neuromorphic electronics by Pascalis Kupodenis, and again, and I was anticipated from Japan, so Yushi Sekitani, and he will be talking about ultra-thin and light-wave organic amplified, enabling biosignal monitoring with reduced noise signal. So, and I can go on, and all the sessions, those are the, invited speakers, but the session are about, really interesting application going from advanced materials for energy applications and circuit designs and simulation, clearly materials for flexible and printed applications, innovative process for circuit, for detection in bioelectronics, smart sensors, smart sensor for wearable applications, and many, many others. So again, we are really excited, and we look forward to meet you all in person in Munich in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Luisa. Thank you. That was a really nice overview of that what we will be seeing in the scientific part of the conference. I think that gives you details on the conference, and I want to let's say end the presentation of the conferences with an overview of the plenaries. You probably know plenaries is always the first start of a talk on Tuesday, and also the morning session on Wednesday and Thursday. And here I want to give you also some highlights. And again, we start with sustainable products, and it's why not better to talk about organic solar films and their footprint, their CO2 footprint. This will be done by Heliatech's CEO, Guido von Tadwig, and will be followed on Wednesday. We will talk about the efforts of Heidelberg, now Heidelberg's printing machine, now moving also into printing of functional electronics. And we have the CEO of Heidelberg here, Rainer Hunsdorfer, will talk to us. I think also that shows that the importance of printed electronics is now has arrived in Germany's industry, when Heidelberger is now talking at LOPEC. And this will be followed by Michael Heckmeyer, the CTO of OLED of Merck, and he will talk about the OLEDs at Merck, where really this is a shifting paradigm in displays, and you will see that also at even on the exhibition part, of course. And Luisa will be also talking to us. She's not only a very nice scientific chair we are proud of, but also she has received awards, and she has also very nice results on her research. So, and she will talk about that on Wednesday. On Thursday, we will have a talk from the European Commission, and I think also that is important because European Commission supports the development, supports the research, but also wants to support that we see more and more products, and especially also sustainable products, which will come out of the printed electronics programs. And this will be continued, and Henry Reidenbach will give us an overview of the programs and will give us also an idea about the impact they have reached and they want to reach in the future. It will be followed by a talk from Philips. Ronald Decker will talk about smart medical devices. So also there we see big players moving into that field. But we do not, and you see that's always a mix of different views on the development of the industry. We also see that research is still important for printed electronics. So the new director of the Fraunhofer FEP, Professor Elisabeth von Hauff, will give us an introduction of their activities, and then followed by a talk about the 3D structural electronics, or the impact of printed electronics now also in the automotive industry. So I think also that is quite interesting talks, which we will see on the plenary sessions as well on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I want to talk, and conference is not the only highlight of LOPEC. The other highlight is, of course, the exhibition. And one part of the exhibition is always the innovation showcase. If you are familiar with LOPEC, you know last year we had a digital LOPEC, but no innovation showcase. We always use the innovation showcase to show latest developments or exhibitors which or exhibits which are showing the latest state of the art. And I already announced in Twitter or LinkedIn that I will give you a glimpse of some surprises you might not expect at LOPEC, but you will see at the Innovation Showcase. We have products from major automobile producers. You see a driving wheel. Actually, it's a driving wheel of a Volkswagen. It includes printed electronics, and you will see it, and you can get an explanation also on a talk about how that is done, but also that is shown. So printed electronics arrives in the car. And another example, which I want to announce today, because also that is something you might have heard of, and you can look at it at LOPEC, is the BMW, which can change color on by push button. So you can switch from a white to black or from black to white. And although this picture is here steady, you will see it then live at the Innovation Showcase, really changing its color dynamically. But not only mobility, you know, our second part is smart living. Also here, we see products, and you will see products. And I don't want to go in details, not to expand your time too much, but I want to connect also to you that we follow some of these startups, for instance. So the product which is shown at the right lower corner is actually a startup which was awarded at the startup competition several years ago. And it was there an idea. It was a business case which was awarded by the jury. And what I can say is we will have it on the show. It is now a product. It's now FDA approved. So, and it will be marketed soon. So also that I think is important to say, we are not looking only at the beginning, we're also looking how it grows and how business cases grow also. And we will showcase it here at our innovation showcase. And there is many more things. I cannot disclose everything, so look out for the exhibition, especially on the part of the innovation showcase. But I think now I need some help, and I have some assistance about what's going on at the exhibition. Probably you are also, you want to look at the exhibition, and I want to start with something which is also part of the accompanying program. It's actually, if you want to get around and want to have some introduction, if you're new to the industry, if you're new to the application and you want to have some guidance, this is free introductory talks. People which know LOPEC know that we are offering this on 2 days, on Wednesday and Thursday, in German and in English, and with the different focus areas. So these are free talks, and they are followed by free guided tours. The people which know LOPEC know this, but I want to emphasize that this is also now, as we will have a live LOPEC, provided again. And if you want to have an introduction, this is the best way to get it, and it's actually really for free. But there is more on the show, and for that, I would like to ask Armin Wittmann. He is from Messe Munich, and he will join me now and give us a status of what we can expect at the exhibition.
Yes, hello, also from my side. I'm the exhibition director of LOPEC, and I have the honor today to tell you a little bit of the trade show part of the show. First of all, do you remember 2019, long time ago? That was the last year we held a regular LOPEC. 2020, we had to cancel it as a short notice. In 2021, we went digital, and now 2022, many years ago, it seems like forever, we are back with a regular show, which we call it. And we are really happy because compared with the last regular shows, we have the same space, exhibition space, as we had in 2019. So we are back there where we ended, and the 2019 show was quite successful. We have, right now we have 153 exhibitors applied, 10 less than in 2019. But interesting, especially for us, we even have 4 countries more where the exhibitors come from. 23 countries. And what we are also really proud of is that we have 6 startups with an own booth, 4 more than 2019. And we had already a little glimpse in what they are going to bring. This is really astonishing. 20 new exhibitors are with LOPEC for the first time. Just picked some out. So company Emerson Rentwick, ITS Metz, SUS Microtech, Lithography, and Torre. So what is new in this year? The first thing is that we have extended exhibition space. We moved and we grew out from the hall B0 and the foyer. Also because we have wider eyes in the exhibition house due to the pandemic situation, which I will explain to you a little later. Try out our new community connection possibilities. If you go to the catalog site on our website, you can see the visitors and also the exhibitors who will be at the show by name and company, and you have the possibility to connect to them prior to the show by just exchanging emails. So this is things we met because we learned that LOPEC is a really viable and vibrant community, and many people know each other. And if you know that your friend, your partners is also at the show, then I'm sure you have another reason to come to Munich. The biggest change, for the first touch when you enter the LOPEC this year, will be that we have a new entrance. We have used the main entrance south. Mr. Miller, can you maybe click once? Yes, we have used the main entrance south. You see here the ICM, the Congress Center, and Hall B0. We use this time the entrance west as an entrance hall because we have more space, and we have to use more space, especially in the entrance situation, to make it easier to keep distance because of the pandemic. So the new thing, so you enter hall, the LOPEC through the entrance west, what we called, and then from this place you move over to the hall V0 and ICM. So this is the biggest change. And now I'm coming to the COVID rules, and you know, this is the picture how it looked like 2 days ago. And when Mr. Milner is just clicking once, then we have a new situation which started by tomorrow. So to enter Germany and Europe is now really easy because Germany has abandoned all of the high-risk areas. That means that all travelers can enter Germany with a negative test or with a vaccination certificate. So it's really easy to enter. And you don't need to go in quarantine. You don't need to fill out a digital entry registration, and there's no transport ban. It makes it easier. And we even have enlarged the list of vaccines we recognize it. So it's a Pfizer vaccine, AstraZeneca. It's a Moderna, the Janssen and Nuva COVAX vaccine. So this is, I think, makes the traveling community much more easier and much more safer than before. This is the first step, how to enter Germany, how to come Germany, and what is happening in the halls. That's on the next chart. So we have two situations. How do you get in the hall? So the admission for visitors is only possible if you have a, we call it 2G, which means geboosted, geimpft und genesen in Germany, in English, recovered and vaccinated. So as visitor, you upload your vaccinated document, either QR code up front in our online booking system, and then you can print your ticket right away. You just take your vaccine pass with you, and then you can prove this in our entry halls. For exhibitors, we have a different rule. So you can, as exhibitor, you can also be tested by a PCR or a rapid test, vaccinated or recovered. There are two more groups that comes from the German legislation. So visitors of restaurants, whatever, have to have different rules than people, employees, and our exhibitors run as employees. That's why we have two different systems. So once you in the show, you will have to wear FFP2 masks. If you walk around, and you can take them off when you are seated and to eat something. And when you're seated in the conference area, we are not quite sure because 2 days before the show, we expect the legislation to change. So right now, we don't know if you can take off your mask when you're seated in the Congress with the according distance or not. So, but this we will announce it just when you are in the room. Also for you, maybe, and also for the listeners, what's around the show? How about hotels? So also in the hotels right now, the 2G, so recovered or vaccines applies. From tomorrow, there should be an easing of this rule, but so far I don't have the details, but we still have 2 weeks to go. So the rules there are just being eased right now every second week. So it looks like that the rules are much easier when in the end of March. But we'll stay in the show. We will only allow people recovered or vaccinated because we want to provide the maximum of safety we can do for our audience, exhibitors, visitors, and presenters. Yeah, this was more or less from my side. If you have any questions, I think we've laid down some time.
Yeah, thank you, Armin Wittmann. I think it's probably hard always to describe a changing situation, but I think what we've seen right now is that we were sure that we can handle it with even with a regulation which is much more tight, but we see that it's getting relaxed over the next weeks, and so I think that is giving us good signs that everyone can join part of these 2G regulations, which we will apply. This is actually now the end of the things we wanted to tell you. There is the chance to give us questions if you want to give us questions. There is a chat function in the platform. If you have any questions about the conference, about the exhibition, about the safety rules, please feel free to ask us any of these questions. You can ask us even questions afterwards using the typical ways to communicate, and we will probably answer them. Of course, we are all still in a tough preparation on, and you can see that on the exhibition, on the conference parts, on even the innovation showcase, handling also the different things. But what we wanted to do today is make you curious about this and make you also curious about networking. And so mark your calendar, look at your calendar, LOPEC for March 22nd, where we start with the business conference, and 23rd and 24th, where we also have then the exhibition. And I know our OEA is doing their central meeting on Monday already. So it's again the Printed Electronics Week, which starts on March 21st. So I've looked at the chat. I don't see any questions right now. For that, I would like to thank you for attending this. I hope you feel now a bit better informed about that, what is planned for LOPEC. I would like to thank all the speakers, especially also the session, the conference chairs, which really did a great job in preparing the conference. I think that is really something where without their help, a conference would not have this high quality. But I also want to thank all the people which have put in the papers in the conference, because without them, we would not have the problem of selecting the papers for this high-level conference and quality. So thank you again. Also, thank you, Armin Wittmann, for giving us the idea about how it will be organized and how the safety concept works. And with that, I would like to say farewell and looking forward to see you end of March. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.